The American Association of Pediatrics releases a troubling report saying in the event of a natural disaster or terrorist attack, the U.S. is not prepared to meet the medical needs of children. Dr. Daniel Fagbuyi is an emergency physician with expertise in disaster and terror response and co-author of the report. He joins us now from Washington. Welcome, Dr. Fagbuyi. Thanks for being with us. How did the awareness of this problem arise?
Yeah, hi, thank you for having me. This has been an issue that's been going on for decades. Many of my colleagues at the American Academy of Pediatrics and some of my predecessors who've been working in this area have looked at this issue, and I think it really came to light after 9/11. I think we started to really ramp up that there was a big issue here.
Well, you would think between then and now, then it might have been solved. At this point, that's a while ago. So what specific kinds of treatments and different medications are needed?
So first is what we call medical countermeasures. These are the drugs, the treatments such as antibiotics, vaccines, equipments, those type of things that we need to take care of adults and children all alike in our day-to-day business as an emergency physician. But when it comes time to disasters, crisis, and an emergency response, we need to have those available readily during a time there's a lot of chaos. And sometimes in this case, and what we're talking about, they're not sufficient enough for our children. And although the issue is being addressed, there still is a gap, and that's what we were talking about that needed to be addressed.
And also, what about medication dosages? And do those have to be very specific depending on the age of the child?
Yeah, so as a person with pediatric expertise, we usually base our dosing and treatment on weight. Children, as you know, are not little adults. It's a cliche term that everybody says, but that is actually true. Because of their different body habitus and some of their vulnerabilities, such as their weight, their skin, their immune system, there are certain dosages and their anatomy that we have to control and account for when we give certain doses to kids. And kids react a little bit different. Some things aren't as palatable to them, so they don't tend to take pills. Definitely, they might not be able to even swallow. We might have to figure out how to get them liquids, and even if liquids, if they spit it out, how else can we get it into them? Those type of things are challenges that we deal with in emergency departments day to day. So this is not just during crisis, but even in our day-to-day response that become challenges.
So this is very, very important that this is addressed. What are you and the American Academy of Pediatrics recommending be done that could increase the stockpiles of treatment?
So I think the first thing, we list a number of recommendations in our document. We definitely prioritize some of the first two things that are critical for federal, state, and local governments, and to make sure that they acquire and maintain the medical countermeasures that are appropriate for children in a good amount of caches. And also to account for the delivery-based, their weight, size, and age. I think that's important. Also for us to be able to deal with research and development in terms of making sure we have safety, information, efficacy, those types of adverse reactions that we sometimes challenge. I'll give you some examples. I was the chair of the anthrax vaccine work group a few years ago that we looked at some of these challenges to try and figure out how do we give a certain medical countermeasure treatment in a pediatric age. Remember, these were all, as a service member, we all were exposed to those types of things, so we got those to our soldiers. But we based that on a 50 to 70 kilogram male, the true fighter. So for children, it's a little bit different. So we have to have some information on that. And it's not that it's being overlooked, but I think we really need to pay attention to it in terms of moving things forward. I'm talking about innovation, devices, treatments. Classic example, nerve agents. Big deal. If there was a nerve agent poisoning, we have those things forward deployed, meaning it's already at hand at certain areas. Emergency services has access to it. They can give it to adults. Right. What about for kids? Do we have those equipment for kids? Yeah, we have some dosing, but we have to figure it out. And we don't have pediatric auto-injectors. Not until recently the FDA actually approved some of these things, which is good. So we're making progress, but there's still a lot of work to be done. These things, nerve agents, actually kill within minutes to a few seconds, depending on what type of nerve agent it is. I don't know if you remember about the Tokyo incident that occurred, and actually most recently that occurred 3 years ago in Iran. So
right.
almost over 400 children were actually involved in that exposure and actually died. So
right.
These are accounted for. We know about these things.
So clearly important that these treatments are pre-measured and stockpiled and not tried to be measured at the moment that they're needed. Thank you so much, Dr. Fagbuyi, for helping to bring to light this troubling information. Thank you for that.
My pleasure.